Hey guys, so welcome back to Cricket Fanatics Magazine, the live show. We are back with a couple of videos that we're going to be doing over the next month or so, leading up to the Test Championship final. And that's what everybody's been waiting for. And we are going to be talking about a couple of things that happened. There's a lot of news that actually broke recently over the time, over the last month or so. That is a lot. It is going to change the way we move forward with South African cricket. It's going to change the the way we think about the game, and it's going to change the way we think about the national team. It's been a really long time since I've been here, and I'm going to be explaining why I was gone after we do this little intro here. But we're mainly going to be talking about Shukri Conrad today, the new appointment at the Proteas. He's now going to be all format coach. So we're going to go through his press conference because Enoch Nkwe as well as Shukri Conrad were in the press conference, and they both had something to say and answer to the media. So it's some interesting information over there that we can pull out and discuss over here. And as per usual, I want you guys to get into the live chat and throw your comments into the live chat, and I'll get there and answer as many questions as you guys throw my way. But before we get going, before we get started, there's a couple of things that you guys all have to do. First and foremost, I'd like you guys to please obviously subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell for all future videos. It's very important that you guys go ahead and do so because we are trying to obviously push our subscriber base up. We've been working really hard over the last few years to try and dominate the YouTube space within the cricket South Africa regime, I would say, or space. We want to control that market, obviously, when it comes to cricket in South Africa. I'd also like you guys to please smash the like button, comment, share, do all of those things that you guys have always done for me. Please do all of those things on this channel as well. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, or please do so. And after we finish with the stream, I want you to go into the comment section as well and comment there too. Ask me questions. I'll try to engage with as many as possible. Also, download the latest issues of Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. Link is on the screen right now, as well as in the description. Guys, when last have I said that to go? So let's get straight into today's show. I'm excited to talk to you guys, hear what you have to say. Let's get into it. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your live cricket show. I'm your host, Khalid Mohidin, and this is the show where we talk about all the major talking points in South African cricket. And I am back after a long hiatus, I would say. I've been away for a while. Guys, it was a hectic cricket season for me. And I'm not going to just say cricket season because it was a hectic 3, 4, 5 years for me doing this content, going live every single day, etc. The amount of extra content we've been doing on the channel as well. We've been shooting behind the scenes videos. We've been doing shooting of training, exclusive interviews. We're hoping to be working on a couple of big projects like documentaries, etc., coming up. So I was really gassed out and really burnt out, and I needed a time to just find myself again and just like relax and get my mojo back, I would say, or my energy back, because I really needed to do these live streams again, and I wanted to get back in front of you guys and talk to you. So I took a little bit of time away from live streaming just to get my mind back to normal again, to get refreshed so I can come do these live shows with you guys a lot more regularly now going forward. I needed to take a break in off season because I was doing multiple things. I wasn't just doing Cricket Fanatics work. I was also trying to help out with a couple of things that were needed to be done, as well as an extra gig with regards to media. I was actually trying to do that as well, and that was also taking up time. We brought new people on board as well with regards to helping with content. So I was busy with that. So it was quite a busy time, and I just needed a time to this reset. So I'm back again, and today it's the perfect way for us to maybe kick off the show and kick off our return to YouTube. And it is with Shukri Conrad. Now, as you guys know, the news broke a couple of days ago that Coach Shukri Conrad is going to be the all formats coach. And not only that, there's a big part of this announcement that I feel should be highlighted more than the actual coach. And that there's going to be a restructure, a broader restructure of the national team strategy that will include the reintroduction of a national convener of selectors or a national convener of selection. So we are going to go back to that model where there's going to be a national selector and a panel, probably, I would say, and a head of national selection that is going to be making the decisions on selection. Now, how that's going to affect the coach and the teams, we don't know, because I'm trying to figure out and get some maybe inside information, or maybe behind the scenes information on who that possibly could be. I tried to go through the names in my head to try and figure out who doesn't have a job at the moment and who would be perfect for that gig. So that's going to be a massive change, because we are being used to, over the last years or so, for Shukri Conrad to be involved with majority of the selections, as well as Rob Walter and Enoch having a say here and there. So now there's going to be a national selector as well. So that's going to make things a little bit different, and a little bit, I would say, it could make it difficult or it could make it easy. We don't know what way it's going to go. I hope that the person that is selected will be able to work with Coach Shukri and has the same mentality or mindset and understanding of where he wants to go going forward. So we're going to go straight into this one, because it's a long press conference, guys, and I hope you guys can sit through it with me, because there's a hell of a lot of gems in here that's going to give us a good indication of where the coach wants to go moving forward. So let's get straight into that, and listen to it. The audio isn't as loud as I'd like it to be. I tried to make it louder, the audio that we received from CSA. I tried to make it louder, but it was distorting the audio. So I couldn't do it in that way. So I had to keep it exactly how it is. So please, guys, if you do need to just increase your volume while the sound is playing, do so, and then lower it when I'm speaking, because obviously the mic is much louder than the audio over here. So, but if it's good, all good, let me know in the live chat as well, so that it takes it away from my mind, because I'm going to overthink and I'm going to start thinking about all of whether it's right or whether it's wrong. So please let me know, give me a thumbs up if the audio is fine. So let's get straight into this press conference. It starts immediately, so there's no time for us for no introductions or anything.
Yeah, it does make life easier. You obviously, you like to use the word token control, but you've got a really good idea of where every single player is at, both physically in terms of a mental space, and yeah, it might be tougher dealing with myself than it was with Rob sometimes, So, but yeah, I must add that Rob and I had a wonderful working relationship, and yeah, it was pretty smooth sailing. But really excited about what would lie ahead, and like you rightly say, it would be a lot easier just managing both workloads and where players are at, and whatever interventions need to happen.
Thanks, Shuk. Thanks, Morgan, for those. Then Telford.
Thanks, Lucy. My question is actually for Enoch. Enoch, I just want to ask you around the decision to appoint a convener of selectors, and why that was kind of the route that you decided to go, and also the way that process and who that person is.
So talking about conveners selectors now, guys.
Thanks for those. So we obviously the application process is just concluded. So we're busy internally, going through obviously the applications and the shortlisting process and all of that. So yeah, we'll be able to give an update as soon as obviously that process is done. And yeah. And And on your other question, look, obviously, I mean, the last sort of 12 months, when we implemented the sort of head coach convener structure, it was a trial period, and then we needed obviously to review and look at areas in terms of where we can actually support the coaches, and hence the selection panel will be coming on board, to try and obviously support the coaches as much as possible, and have more eyes obviously on the ground, as the coaches are going to be focusing on the performance of the Proteas.
Okay, so there is a confirmation over there that they haven't chosen the convener yet, and we're going to hear soon. We are going to get a test team announcement tomorrow, test squad announcement for the test championship final tomorrow, and we will do a show tomorrow highlighting that and talking about that specifically. But the thing is that I want to say here is, I just hope that the convener does get along with Coach Shukri and the way he wants to go forward and the players that he wants to select. Now, I'm assuming that transformation and all of those type of things are going to come into account when it comes to selection and having a selection panel. I think that's probably where a lot of the debates are going to be happening on which players of color they're going to have to promote moving forward. So I just hope that the coach and the convener of selectors will get along, because that will really help us with us moving forward as a whole. So it hasn't been announced yet who it's going to be, but let's see where they go with regards to that. I'm going to go straight into the comment section because you guys will probably be talking as we go along. So I'm going to reveal some of the comments that you guys have had to say about this particular selection. So we've got Munir that says, where is it now? I saw it here. Not that. I saw something on the selection panel. Oh, there we go. Herschel Gibbs needs to be on the panel, says Munir Sunday. Let's move to Riza says, if you know anything about so-called illegal substance. Okay, this is about KG. We'll get to that a bit later on. Lauren says, I have a theory on why it was brought back. I don't think the CSA board were all that happy with the number of BA and players of color, Black African and players of color, got playing opportunities. So they probably want to have control of that again. So that's his theory on it. Sam says he hopes Shukri does not ignore Linda as Rob did. He's a real match winner. He can bat and smack the ball in lower order. Also, we saw towards the end of Rob's tenure that he started picking George Linda. So let's see if that continues. Let's continue with this, Presser.
Thanks, Fidos. Telford, then Benjamin.
Thanks, Lucy. How's the Shukri? And congratulations. Not only, but of course, Liverpool winning the league.
Congrats to the Liverpool fans, by the way.
But I wonder, this whole selection convener thing. There's one way to get around it. You could apply for that job too. And I wonder, how do you feel about having to deal with the selection convener again? And have you been perhaps part of this process of restoring that?
Look, I think whatever we always knew that it was going to be under review constantly, and as Enoch mentioned now, this is the route that CSA are gonna go. I don't think the word dealing with the convener is the right narrative we want to project. I think hopefully it will be a like-minded person that has got South African cricket and the Proteas, more importantly, as first prize all the time. As to my involvement in the process, I'm sure at some stage, once all the applications have happened and that process is concluded, I'm sure my input will be sought, and I will take it from there.
He's speaking over there, and I'm listening to what he's saying, like his input will be sought. I hope that he plays a massive role in the decision making. I hope that the selector works with him and really takes his points of view and his mentality or opinion of the players or observations of the players into account 90% or 80%, and then the other 20% comes with the selectors, because I don't think that there are many people out there going around at the moment that don't have jobs, or even some that do have jobs, that have the knowledge base when it comes to the players domestically in South African cricket than Coach Shukri has. I've said this on plenty of occasions. This is the reason why I did enjoy or like the appointment of him initially for the Test side is because of his involvement with all levels and all tiers in South African cricket, from the from the high performance academy to the under 19s to the emerging sides, the SAA sides, domestic cricket as well before that, and then South Africa as well. So his understanding of which players are there, but not only which players are there, the mentalities of these players. Do they have the character to play for South Africa? So I hope that the convener that comes in doesn't log heads with Coach Shukri and rather works with him on a way forward. Because at the end of the day, the most important thing for cricket in South Africa is that cricket grows and that we make sure that we can prolong the game in South Africa and not kill it. That would be the main objective for me. So we need to be able to have a plan in place so that we can help youngsters take that next step, grow them, improve them, and make sure that we can win trophies, but not only once and then disappear. I want to be able to win and then recycle it and win again and win again. But first, the first job for Coach Shukri, which is the biggest job in world cricket, I would say, is getting over the line that very first time. Because South Africa have never won a trophy, an ICC trophy or World Cup trophy ever. It starts with the World Test Championship. It's going to move to the T20s. And then we've got a home World Cup, ODI 50 over World Cup that we have to win. So there's going to be a hell of a lot of pressure on Coach Shukri going forward. But the number one thing for the selectors and Coach Shukri should be the benefit of South African cricket and cricket in South Africa. Not a political agenda, nothing like that. The benefit of cricket and the players in this country. That should be their number one priority. Let's move on. I'm going to ramble too much.
Thanks, Talford. Benjamin?
Lucy, morning everyone. First to Enoch. Obviously now consolidating the two head coaching roles to go across all formats. There was a whole lot of reasons given for actually separating the roles at the beginning. Have you abandoned those with going with the Shooks or the red and white ball positions? And then also, Shooks, congratulations on the job yet again. It had been an open secret for some time, with just about 2 years to go to the World Cup. Do you have any specific plans? Are you planning to work any differently from Rob from here on?
Important question, that.
I'll go first then, and Enoch can follow. I don't think I want to do things differently. I think Rob obviously laid a really good foundation. Did some wonderful things. You only need to look at the performances at ICC events. So I'll try and build on what Rob has done. And yes, those processes have started already. And now, as we already chatted to some of our players at the IPL and abroad, in terms of potentially what their year can look like, in terms of active involvement. So the planning processes have started. It's not one that ever stops. So, and it will be modified as we go along, obviously. But I'll be excited and looking to build on what Rob has done, and then obviously take whatever good things we've done in the test space and hopefully transfer that into the white ball space as well.
Yeah, so it's important what he said there with regards to building on what Coach Rob has laid the foundation with. The problem with Rob Walter was that we were only good in tournament cricket and not at all in bilaterals. So that's going to be also something that they may be going to have to discuss and talk about as well. Let's move on.
Thanks, Benjamin. Yes, there were a whole lot of obviously factors that were taken into account in this process and finalizing the process to appoint Coach Shukri. And having looked at also the FTP, yes, this year it is jam packed, which is we do have a plan in terms of how we're going to manage that. I've had discussion also with Coach Shuks, and so we'll be managing all of that throughout this year. But we had to obviously look at the World Cup, the WTC cycle, and where it worked, and look at what's actually going to work best. And with Coach Shukri having been obviously in the system over the past 2.5 years, it was no brainer, to obviously look at him taking the team going forward, as he's been part of the process, since start of the split or the dual structure, and he has a good understanding of what's been happening in white ball, like he said. And so now the plan is also to build on the good work that Rob has done, and and we have no doubt from our side that he'll do a good job for us, as he's been part of the process, and we're fully confident, and we'll keep supporting him on this journey to World Cup 2027.
You see, the they didn't really answer this question like I would have liked it, because initially they decided to split the role, and that came with a little bit of backlash. And they gave good answers onto why they wanted to split the role in the first place. So I thought that that's the direction that they wanted to go. But when they let Rob go, I was under the if you still had the impression that they were going to keep it split, my number one target would have been Adrian Burrow for the gig as the white ball coach, and then Coach Shukri, obviously, red ball coach. But I always said that if they are going to make it all into one again, like I would have initially wanted from the beginning. So when the new coach came in, initially after Mark Boucher, I wanted Coach Shukri to be the coach of all formats, not to have a split role. They decided to do the split and then get Rob and Coach Shukri, and now they've gone to what I wanted originally anyway. So I'm actually quite happy with the situation, because this is what I wanted initially after Mark Boucher, for Coach Shukri to take all formats. But if the roles were split, I would have liked Adrian Burlow to be the white ball coach. I think he would have been the perfect person for that role. He speaks Xhosa. He has an understanding of what the South African system needs. We can see the way he manages the Sunrisers Eastern Cape and the togetherness he builds. He has an amazing ability to bring out the best in younger players and players in general that are struggling. So I thought he would have been probably a very good appointment if they were going to keep the roles split. But right now, I am genuinely happy about the situation that we are currently in, because if they were always going to make Coach Shukri the coach across all formats if the roles were not going to be split. That was always going to be the case. He's done too good of a job with the test side. But the positive over there for me is that he can now build a mentality throughout the team. In all formats, it's one mentality, one style of cricket and mentality. Yes, it will be tweaked for ODIs and it will be tweaked for T20s. It won't be exactly the same brand of cricket necessarily that you'll see in Test cricket. Of course not. But at least what we would have seen there is that we're going to get a consistency in the message of mentality and how the players are going to be utilized, what the coach expects from them. They're not going to get a different message when they go to the white ball camp than what they are going to go to the red ball camp. So that's a major, major positive for me going forward, having that continuity and consistency throughout the team. Let's move on, guys, because it's quite a long presser.
Thanks, Benjamin. We'll look to take another one from Firdous.
Thanks, Lucy. Shuks, this is for you. I just want to ask you around support staff. Obviously, you picked a support staff in your test squad, presumably, for test matches. What are you thinking there? Will you retain some of Rob's guys? Have you reached out to anyone?
Well, that hasn't been finalized yet, Firdous, but the bulk of, shall we call it, the test staff will move over to the white ball space, and then where we can make improvements, I feel we can add someone who will bring some really good inputs and IP, then we'll do that. So I've had 1 or 2 conversations, and I'm talking more specifically in T20. The World Test Championship final is the immediate project, and then we build towards the T20 World Cup in February. But all the while having one eye on how we're gonna mold the ODI side for the World Cup in 2027. So it's a 3-pronged attack, with the short term, the immediate term being the final at Lords, and then obviously the T20 World Cup. And to answer your question, yes, I've had 1 or 2 conversations with people outside of either staff to possibly bring in the T20 space.
You see that job, or that section, is going to be a little bit easier because Coach Rob never necessarily had permanent roles in as staff. He had people that were consulting a lot. So he'd bring in Eric Simons for the T20 World Cup and for the World Cup, etc., as a bowling coach to help out during the tournament. He'd have a batting consultant, etc., to come and help out. So he never really had permanent guys. JP Dumini was initially appointed, but then he left the role. So I don't think that job is going to be as hard, or there are not going to be too many people, I feel, that are going to be too disappointed with regards to that side of the game, because Coach Shukri did have a different staff. So it's going to be interesting what's going to happen with those extra gaps that are going to be filled. Who are they going to select? Which coaches is he going to bring on board for all formats? Because yes, even though I feel that Coach Shukri has the ability to be able to coach all formats, a lot of coaches these days are kind of becoming format coaches, I would say, strong in certain formats and not that good in others. And particularly, I'm talking about the T20 game, because there is such an increase of the amount of T20 cricket played all over the world and the amount of franchises opening. There's so many opportunities for coaches to make massive money by becoming T20 coaches, specialists. And that's kind of where a lot of coaches are heading towards. So it's going to be a very interesting thing who they're going to go with regards to his staff.
Thanks, Firdous. Talford, then Zahir.
Thanks, Lucy. Shukri, one of the challenges that Rob faced was, a lot of the time his best players weren't available playing in franchise tournaments. And I mean, you had a taste of that yourself when Burnley went to Anfield. And I just wondered, but this becomes the white ball coach as well. So how are you going to follow the same philosophy that Rob had with a lot of players and blooding new talent, or how are you going to handle?
Very important question, this.
We're going to put out the best Proteas side every time we play, and Test cricket. You mentioned the Burnley to Anfield. That thankfully won't happen again. But I think more specifically in the T20 space is what you're alluding to. I've had conversations with players, all format players and guys that only play the one format that are contracted to us. That at every turn, when the Proteas play, there's an expectation that they'll play for South Africa.
Brilliant.
The Proteas will never be a franchise team. The Proteas will never be a league, nor will it be a convenience. So every time the Proteas, and this is part of building a culture and building an environment that players want to be part of. And again, I can say that every single player is committed to that and wanting to be a part of it. So hopefully, Telford, we don't have too many of those sort of things, but I can quite comfortably and every turn the best Proteas side will be put out in the field. I don't think, and this is not knocking what's gone before. I've got a pretty good idea of who the players are that can go on and represent South Africa at World Cups in the white ball space and finals in the Test space. And those players will be called upon whenever the Proteas play.
So that's a very, very important statement there, because we saw a lot of makeshift teams being selected to play for the South African bilateral series, and then we get smacked. How many times have we sat here, guys, on a stream talk last season talking about the poor performances and getting completely destroyed by teams that we should actually be able to beat if we had a full strength team, but even be able to compete with when we have a second string team or whatever, and yet we got completely slaughtered. So it's very important that Coach Shukri came out here and put his foot down to say that the best team is going to be selected in every single match. So let's see if this gets implemented, because there are tournaments that players are contracted to, etc. And let's see if this still happens even with regards to the IPL, because we know that with the IPL things were different. You know, players went to play IPL and didn't play for South Africa. So I'm hoping, really, really hoping that he will be able to enforce this, because we need our best teams playing as many games as possible, because you build in the bilateral series. That's where you build. You don't build um, just before a tournament. You build throughout the year. And we've spoken about this a lot on this channel. A lot of you guys have said it. So we need to build throughout the year in every single match that we play. And then by the time we get to tournament, we have the right mentality. That's how it should be working. Let's move on to the next question.
Thanks, Telford. So here.
How's it, Shuks? Congratulations on the job. Just when you took over the test side, made a couple of bold calls immediately by replacing the captain. Were you happy with the current leadership structure in the T20 and the ODI side, or can we expect changes in that regard going forward?
I haven't given it that much thought, but I don't like. Yeah, there'll be some changes. I can almost say that we've obviously got to look at what's worked and what's been successful, and then, like I said, the plan towards the T20 World Cup, and then again with one eye on the World Cup in South Africa 2027, we've got to start steering in that direction as well. And if there are changes in that space, then after consultation with convener, director of cricket, we might make one or two changes, but that's a little bit on the back burner now. I think we'll tackle that once we come back from Lords, hopefully with a mace in our hands as well.
So that hints to me that there might be a couple of people maybe retiring after the World Test Championship. He definitely made it clear that there are going to be some changes with regards to the captaincy. And it's plain and simple. We know who the captains are. It's Kemba Bavuma and Aiden Markram. So there might be a couple of changes after the World Test Championship. I mean, will Temba retire? There's been talk around it. I've heard a couple of talks or rumors about it. There's nothing confirmed, guys, so don't take my word 100% for it. But Coach Shukri just did confirm here that there will be a couple of changes, but first and foremost, they want to get to the World Test Championship and then go from there.
Thanks. So here, Johan.
Morning, Shuks. Just want to double check. When will you announce the test squad going to Lords?
Johan, good morning. As Lucy mentioned at the top of the show, that announcement is happening Tuesday next week.
Thanks, Johan. Khalid?
Shuks, I just wanted to ask you, obviously you spoke about brand of cricket in the past when we asked you about that for the test team, and the mentalities plays a big role in that with regards to players. I just want to know from the mental side of the game, how are you going to go forward with regards to instilling a certain mentality in your players for particularly tournament cricket and trying to get over that line?
Khalid, look, I think what we've pushed really hard in the test space is for players to play like they play, and get the best out of them. And if you look at the white ball space, both T20 and ODI cricket, I mean, we've got some hell of unbelievably talented cricketers, both senior and young bucks that are coming through now. And I think that would be what I'd set out to do is to create an environment where they're allowed to play like they play. And again, in the test side, we knew there might be some pitfalls along the way. and I'd like to think that we've navigated that to a large degree. And similarly, in the white ball space, we're going to find that. I think if we can just unshackle our players a bit, if we can allow the players to take a bit more responsibility and as to how they want to play, and me just steering it, I mean, I've got a hell of a coaching staff that play a massive role in that as well. And I'm very comfortable that if we marry and if we can emulate what has happened in the test space in terms of the environment that has been created, that I've got no doubt that the white ball space will flourish. And you mentioned in tournament cricket, yes, that's probably where we're going to get judged. But I think the bilaterals are as important. That's really where you create all of this, and that's why, just to go on what Telford said, it's important that we create this culture, this environment with every single and our best players present, so that when it comes to tournament cricket, it's not just a surprise, that here comes a couple of our marquee players that we haven't seen for the entire year. Now they parachute into a World Cup. Every single player is going to be part of the brand that you talk of, that we're going to try and create in that white ball space.
The biggest thing for me over there, answering my question, it was unshackling players. Now, how many times have we said that certain players look like they are being a little bit held back? Right? They don't look like they are playing with freedom. They're confused on the brand of cricket they want to play, or whatever the case may be. So the word unshackle was used there, and I think that's very important. Another thing that Coach Shukri said over there, just to remember it fully, was that he wants to be able to allow players to play their brands of cricket and unlocking their brand of cricket and getting the best out of them in the way they want to play the game. That is so important, because I think that South Africans naturally play an attacking brand of cricket. It's in our nature to play that way. You'll get the exceptions to the rule where you'll get a guy that's going to stand at the crease and face 100 balls for 30. But majority of the time, the South African players know one way, and that's to attack and to play an adaptable brand of cricket, because that's the only way you survive on our pitches. You have to be able to be adaptable, because in every place you play, you don't get the same type of conditions. So having that adaptability is almost instilled in our players from a young age. So I always believed that if players just played the best that they can and played their natural games, and coaches didn't try to change them into something they are not, automatically we would play an attacking brand of cricket. That's just obvious to me if that is the case. So that's what I'm hoping is going to be happening. And I like that answer from Coach Shukri as well. And it's not because I asked the question.
Thanks. We're going to take a last couple of round of questions. Benjamin, go ahead.
Enoch, this one's for you again. As I mentioned earlier, it had been an open secret for a while. Did you entertain any other applications, maybe, or was this just simply your man?
Thanks, Benjamin. No, I didn't, and yeah. In fact, Coach Shukri from the get-go. So yeah, obviously we just needed to go through that overall structures to ensure that everything is all in place, and and we can be in a position where we can obviously make that announcement. But yeah.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have been. I mean, they wouldn't have been if they decided they're going to change the structure and just make it one coach. It was so obvious that it was going to be Coach Shukri. That was the whole debate. It was whether they're going to keep the structure as two or whether they're going to change it to one. So obviously it would have been Coach Shukri. There's no way they would have. There was no way they want to get rid of Coach Shukri just so they can appoint a different person because they want to look at the white ball. That was never going to happen.
Thanks, Benjamin, for those. Then Kaniso.
Shukri, I just want to follow up on what you've been saying around player availability. I mean, obviously there are leagues and we all know about the clashes, but you seem to be indicating that you will require players to turn out in bilateral games to some extent in order to make big tournaments. How do you plan on managing this? And I mean, you don't have to give us the specifics, but am I understanding correctly?
Yeah, understand it 100% correctly, Proteas. And this
Brilliant.
again comes with careful planning and buy-in from everyone. And I just think going down this road just cleans up everything. You know, it makes it less messy, less conversations, less talk, and talk that can be quite polarizing in many respects. That's it gets taken away when you have got it's clear black and white. This is when South Africa plays. I want all my players available to play. If you choose not to play for South Africa, well, then you go down that road. You know, so players are all format players. Have been spoken to. They are fully supportive of what I'm wanting to do. And then we plan the year for them in advance, you know, and where rest periods are going to be emphasized or suggested, it will be exactly that. It will be a rest period. It won't be one where you can then go and play in another league type of thing. But by the same token, we still want them to gain experience playing in leagues when the Proteas are not playing. So when South Africa are not playing, guys are going to be free to play wherever they want, you know, because we want them to maximize their earning potential as well, and then obviously come back to South Africa as better cricketers also. So, but again, when the Proteas play, and I cannot put it more simple than that, because that all our players must be available for selection, and if they make themselves unavailable for selection, well, that's a decision that they've made and a path that they've chosen.
That is exactly what you want to hear from a coach. I'm sorry. That is probably the line of the entire press conference. You make yourself available. If you want to play for South Africa, you make yourself available to play for South Africa. It doesn't matter what league or contract or wherever you have signed, you make yourself available for South Africa and you play for South Africa. That is exactly the ruthlessness that we need from a coach right now. Especially with all those leagues going around. There's a league for every single country now, almost. So every major, I'm going to say major country. I don't want to, I don't want to, let's just move on from that. So diminish any other country. That's what the word I was thinking about. So yeah, but all the well-known countries, I would say, have a league. I mean, Canada, America, England, South Africa, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan, all the major cricketing countries, I would say, and a couple of other countries now as well, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, all of those places. So leagues are popping out everywhere, and there's so much money to be made. But that statement from Coach Shukri is the gold. Then it's the golden ticket, I think, to success for more players. Know what you're getting yourself into, because this is exactly what you're getting yourself into. You make yourself available for South Africa whenever South Africa plays, regardless of what contract you've signed where, or not, regardless of whatever else is happening. South Africa comes first. And for a coach to take that stand is really brave. And let's hope it can be implemented. Let's see if there's anything else. Can't
Thanks,
remember.
Proteas. Kaniso?
Good morning, guys. Thank you very much. Just a quick one to elaborate further on Fidoz's staff complement question. What then happens with the white ball coaching staff?
Thanks, Tanyisa. So if you recall, I mean, the white ball coaching team, we had Anton Roo, who was a consultant. We had also Imran Khan, who is our HP betting lead on full-time basis. He needed also to slot in there for the Champions Trophy. So in essence, we actually don't have a betting coach, and so the only one left basically, is Wandile Babu, our field coach. And like Shukri said, we haven't finalized everything, and as soon as all the support staff and how we're going to actually work with Wandile moving forward within our structures, that all will be confirmed in due course.
Thanks, Kaniso. First of all, I see your hand is next, but we'll save you for the end because I'm assuming those are going to be two Afrikaans questions. So we're going to go Johan Telford and then wrap with Percy.
My question is for Enoch. Enoch, I just want to double check you guys. Are you in contact with the guys in India I saw that Australia is saying they're monitoring the situation and they keep in touch with the guys.
Thanks, Johan. Yes, we are in contact with BCCI and IPL, and as soon as obviously there are new updates, they will share it with us on this side. But yeah, we are closely monitoring the situation there together also with BCCI and
Yeah, it's hectic what's happening there. It's hectic what's happening there. Kira guys on.
Thanks, Johan. Talford, to wrap before we go to Percy.
Enoch, I'm also asking about the Indian situation. Have you spoken to any of the actual South African players, and do you know if they're nervous about being there?
Thanks, Albert. Not me directly, but the team has been in contact. Like our team manager has been in contact with the players, and like Coach Shukri said, he has been chatting to some players over the last day or two. So we like I mentioned earlier, we are closely monitoring the situation and ensuring that our player safety comes first.
Thanks, Talford. Percival, over to you.
Lucy, thank you so much.
Okay, that's the Afrikaans question, so I'm going to cancel that one. Okay, so guys, I think it was a decent press conference. Like I said, I mentioned some of the highlights of it, particularly talking about mentality when it comes to playing well and keeping a consistent mentality throughout bilateral series going into international tournaments as well. So there needs to be a consistency, playing his best team throughout the bilaterals in white ball cricket, making themselves available for South Africa first and foremost as the priority. Those are the kind of the main topics that came out of this press conference. The fact that there's going to be a convener of selectors now, the fact that he's going to try and work with the convener as best as possible. And another thing that comes out of this is that the staff, there's only one Dilegwavu that was actually a permanent staff member of Rob. The rest were all consultants. So there aren't going to be major changes with regards to that. They're going to see how they're going to fit Wandile Guavu in the system. Whether he's going to be on Coach Shukri's team or not is going to be up to Coach Shukri and Enoch. They're going to decide that going forward. So that's that, guys. That's the press conference. That's the reaction to the press conference and to the major news about Coach Shukri. I'm going to get into some comments in the comment section as we always do. Let's just start with what is recent because I don't think I'll be able to go right up to the top. I'm going to start with Sam, the perfect example of Aiden. He never gets his perfect role. He always suffered his place in the team. Or I'm thinking that you mean that he always not suffered, man. What is the word I'm looking for? Sacrifices his place in the team. I don't think, for me, Aiden Markram was always an opening batter in my eyes, all formats. I'm not just talking about now T20 or ODIs. I've always seen Aiden Markram as an opening batter. Maybe that's because that's how I met him. I met him as an opener. And a brilliant opener at that as well. He's had to shift around quite a bit, so I do agree with you there. But right now, I feel that with Coach Shukri involved with white ball and in ODI and Test cricket, we will start to see players get played in their best positions. And we already know his treatment of Stubbs, that he has an understanding of where players will be able to get the best out of their own game and which positions. So I do trust Coach Shukri when it comes to those selections. Mika says, foreign coaches bring winning mentality, expertise in the modern way of playing white ball cricket. We play more conservative than other great nations. Coach Shukri generally is a more expansive type of play coach. We saw his Cobras teams in the past, way before this whole brand of attacking cricket was invented. That's the type of style and brand he wanted to play with. I've heard people tell me as well that used to play with him in the past and witnessed him play, that he was a very attacking-minded player even back then. So he's always had that mentality instilled in him. Lauren says, Shukri just speaks like a proper coach. With Rob, I never got the feeling. His talk was more strategic, whereas Coach Shooks goes a bit deeper than that. And I agree with you with that. I agree with that statement 100% because when Coach Shukri speaks, he does give you reasons for why he says what he says. He doesn't make statements and just leave it there for you to interpret. He does elaborate on it and give you reasons why he's made the decision. Whether you would agree with his decisions or not is irrelevant, in my opinion, because he sticks to what he says and he gives you reasons for them. Then you, as an individual, can decide whether you agree or not. And that's another story altogether. But the mere fact that we have a coach that believes in his ideologies and his philosophy and gives you reasons for why he thinks that way to help you learn and understand why he's making the decisions that he makes. I'm a type of person that if I can understand why you are doing something, I can accept it until it goes wrong. So those are the type of things that I enjoy in a coach. I like to understand why a decision was made. Sam says, yes, Linda would be preferred in white ball and Maharaj in test. Lorenzo says, let's be frank, the people who's losing their minds on social media on what Coach Shukri said is, where is the rest of this? Please, Lorenzo. Okay, here we go. Lorenzo, let's be frank, the people who's losing their heads on social media on what Coach Shukri said is not about what he said, but it's about the person who said it. That, huh? That is white is right mentality must stop. What were they going on about? Guys, I don't go on Twitter. If you guys can please elaborate and let me know what was said, what people are saying on Twitter about him. I'll be interested to know that. Mika says Shukri is on smoke. I love that. Sam says Deva Brevis now should fully focus on playing for the Proteas and always available for domestic and SA tour, not only on leagues like Abu Dhabi, etc., and MIC. He, in my time, he's a good lad. Still, I'm not happy how DC used him. I don't know. Wait, that's not relevant. Okay, Lawrence says, will be interesting to see what happens with Klaassen, who rejected a Proteas contract to prioritize league cricket. It's very interesting to see. But look, guys, I've always had an opinion of Klaassen that I've been saying on a very, very long time on the show. I've always said that there's a lot of games where Klaassen doesn't take his team over the line. He is an extremely talented cricketer and amazing to watch, destructive at his best. But there's been so many occasions where I've watched him play the game and he never finishes off. He'll get like a 60 or 20 balls or 25 balls or whatever, or 30 balls or whatever. But he won't be the last batter at the end, seeing the team over the line. And a lot of those times when that happens, the team ends up losing. So I would have liked to see Klaassen actually stay there till the end and actually take a team over the line, winning matches for South Africa. And that always seems to be the case. He loses his wicket at critical periods, and then it's almost on the rest to try and save the game in a way. Lorenzo says, okay, I've read that already. Micah says Gibbs was right about Klaassen, not a big game player. Interesting. This replies to people from Kelly. Micah says Rickerton and Stubbs can be keeper, allows Brevis or Luandre to come in. Luandre is a very talented player. I'm very interested to see what Coach Shukri can do with him. NY Times Square says, yes, I was not happy with his... Okay, this is talking to someone else in the chat. Sam says, Khalid, in your opinion, who would be supportive staff should in the white ball? I think that the staff should be the same for white ball and red ball now that Coach Shukri is coach. And it's going to be very interesting to see who that's going to be, because Ashwell Prince is currently the red ball cricket coach, red ball batting coach, I think, for Coach Shukri. I think that was his preferred choice for the test arena. It's going to be interesting to see whether Coach Shukri will keep the same staff for both, or he might have a different staff for white ball in certain positions. So I don't really have an opinion on that necessarily. Um, like who I think would be there's no opinion that I have on that really, on who should be the support staff in the white ball arena. I'll have to do some checking on that and go look at whoever's available first before I can make that decision or give you guys a good opinion. Lorenzo says greed has destroyed cricket, in particularly South Africa. Yep. There's arguing going on in the chat here. I want to see some statements from you guys that are actually addressing me. Where is it? Okay. Lodrick says you will never win in an ICC tournament with players who only play outside SA when they play for the Proteas. And that's why Coach Shukri made that very important statement. Lauren says we've now moved away from 2 coaches, so I would assume we will also now move away from 2 captains in the white ball format. Coach already hinted at that in the presser. Markram most likely will be captain. Yep. Munir says Klaasen is not the issue. NY Times Square says my preferred top 5 for the next World Cup is Ryan, Aiden, Klaasen, Miller, and Stubbs. Let me just see, because the chat has gone out of control. So there's not a lot of statements here, people going back and forth between each other. Let me just see a little bit higher up over here if there's anything else said. Seema says, when is your panel returning? Soon. I would like to get a panel on maybe tomorrow or Wednesday to discuss the test team, and I want to get some people's opinion on Coach Shukri as well as a coach. For the first show, I just wanted to ease it in, have a show with me, and then we'll move on to the panel as we go along. Okay, guys, so I'm going to call it there. Really good to be back. Yeah, it's really good to see you guys again and chat to you guys. We are going to be doing a lot more shows now. I'm going to try minimum 3 times a week to give you guys a show as best as possible. Leo Lorenzo's answered my question earlier on that I wanted to know. Hardy, they basically bitching about what Coach Shukri said about players prioritizing SA, saying we're going to lose all our players, yet they were the same ones complaining that happened in New Zealand. Yeah, well, those people must just keep their mouths, because I don't feel that we will lose our players, because it's not stopping them from earning money still. They will still be able to make extra money when the South Africa is not playing. South Africa should be the priority. It's simple as that. And I 100% agree with Coach Shukri over there. Guys, so we're gonna be doing the KG issue. So we know the deal around KG Rabada and what has happened over there. The rumors or the reports say that he was, I can't say the word, I don't want to be, not cancelled, but I don't want to YouTube to take my video down. But the substance abuse was of the white nature, apparently. And they have, and what actually happened with the whole KG Rabada situation is that apparently happened in South Africa during the SA20. And they tested and found out, and he was banned when they found out. So the ban was already over when he went back, I think, when he went to the IPL. And he returned to South Africa for personal reasons. And then as a result, that news came out, etc., on why he was leaving, etc., and all of those type of things. And the news came out about the fact that he was taking a recreational drug. I'm a person that believes that there shouldn't be no drugs in sport. This wasn't a performance enhancing drug, though, and that's why they've been lenient with him with regards to the ban. I wouldn't say lenient, but they've given him the same ban as others who have taken substances like this in the past. There's only been like 2-3 occasions, I think, that someone's been actually caught and banned for that, and they served a month ban for it. It was not performance enhancing drugs, so they can't ban him for longer, apparently. But it is a pity um, that KG Rabada made that decision and got caught doing these things, because I feel like he is a beacon for the future of South African cricketers. He is a symbol to a lot of people. He's a hero to a lot of people. And that just sends the wrong message to our younger kids and our younger generation. Yes, I believe that whatever people do in their spare time, in their personal life, that's up to them to decide. But as a professional sports person who is as big as KG is, and as well as known as KG is, and that he is a hero to so many young kids, it just sends the wrong message to those young children. And that's what I feel about the situation. And I'm not going to go much further into that. He has apologized, and they are going to decide what they're going to do with regards to World Test Championship. We'll know on Tuesday what they decided with KG, and we'll probably hear a little bit more about that in the presser after that. So anyway, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please put your notifications on when you click subscribe, so that you know, so that we know who, so we know when we go live, because we are not going to go straight bang every day a show yet. I'm going to ease into it. I need to get myself back into the flow of things. You could see I was a little bit rusty tonight. So yeah, you're going to ease your way into that. I'm going to give you a show tomorrow with a test announcement, and then hopefully I'm going to try and do a panel show tomorrow or on Wednesday that sums up everything and gets people's opinions on the way forward with under Coach Shukri. So thanks a lot for tuning in, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was great to be back. I'll see you guys very soon with another daily show, or live cricket show. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and peace out, everyone.